we chase engagement more than likes and views.
People who have watched our content convert at a much higher level, and a lot of times you get those people already converted.
The key is to understand the heart behind the group, and then don't force feed content and be salesy. Come from contribution.
What's going on? Happy whatever day this is that this is coming out, but right now we are recording it as Tuesday. So I'm gonna say happy Tuesday. Hope you are having a fantastic day. We're back with another episode of the Real Estate Video Blueprint Podcast. My name is Katie Day, and my co-host Timothy Macy and I are very excited to welcome from Nash Vegas, Kyle Wallace.
Why the whole real estate video blueprint? Why not REVB? Like, why did we use all those words?
So every time I do an intro, I like to do something different than last time. So the last time we did one, I said REVB. This one, it's Real Estate Video Blueprint. We're just mixing it up to keep the people guessing. They know it's REVB. Today... They're here. Okay, Tim, we're welcoming from Nash Vegas, Kyle Wallace. What's up?
Let's go. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
It's good. So you're in Franklin. Like, how far out is Franklin from Nashville?
Man, Franklin's about, depending on what part of Nashville, 25 to 40 minutes.
Okay, so do you work a lot in Nashville, or have you like niched down to the Franklin suburb?
So mainly Franklin. So we really out here, I think a lot of markets are dictated based on school districts, especially when it's a suburban neighborhood like we're in. And so they do county schools here. And so Williamson County is the county that Franklin, Brentwood, Nolensville, parts of Spring Hill. So overall, we're like greater Nashville area, Middle Tennessee, but we really specialize in Williamson County.
Katie and I stumbled upon you as you joined Real a little while ago, came to REVB. Like, it's awesome to connect with you. And then we're like, oh man, this guy makes some pretty cool videos. And so kind of give us, that Kyle Wallace origin story of your journey with video in your real estate business.
Yeah, no, I love that. We kind of accidentally stumbled across video. My wife and I are highly relational. So we run a team. My wife, Casey, and I've been in the business now for, I believe this is year number 9, and 7 of those she's been with me. And so my background was, I was actually a youth pastor, and Casey was an RN. And so like, we just love to serve people and build relationships with people. So that was like our focus, and some social media splashed in there. And then one day we got really big on these referral Facebook groups. And we kind of had this thought. It was, when I say we, anytime I say we, it's really the genius of my wife. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that was our idea because we're married. So she was
Tim really can really empathize now. He feels that one deep in his soul.
Yeah. Some say married up.
Whenever I say we did this or we should do that, it always means somebody else did it or somebody else should help me do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They say married up in the South. We say out puncher coverage. And I definitely did those things. So yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, out punted my coverage when I married Casey. So I started my sales career as a senior in high school when we first started dating. So anyway,
nice.
Yeah. So we were highly relational and trying to build relationship with these other real estate agents. And we had this idea of what if we put together like an intro video of almost like a front end bumper of a TV show type of thing, just an introduction of who Kyle and Casey are. And that way we can, speed to the lead, right? At the same time, we send the link to somebody. This gives a really good idea of exactly who we are and what we stand for and how we serve people. And then maybe that'll like break down a wall. How do we separate ourselves from all the other 40 million people that are on there? Like, oh, I serve Franklin or I serve Nashville. Choose us. And believe it or not, like it started working like at a high level. And so again, because we had that idea as actually my wife, but I was like, let's totally do it. So we found a videographer that did weddings that we really liked his stuff. Storytelling was really important to us. We're like, how do we capture this cinematic, beautiful thing that will let people capture who we are in serving people, our family, what we stand for. And man, we started just nailing leads like crazy of people coming in, real estate agents saying, I watched your video. I've had about 40 million people reach out to me. I watched your video and my clients have to work with you guys. So anyway, that kind of started our video journey of like, wow, this is such a powerful tool in our marketing.
I love that. I think that those of us who have done any video know that leads, agents, whoever, like people who have watched our content convert at a much higher level. And a lot of times
Yeah.
you get those people already converted. The best call is
Yeah.
when somebody calls you and says, hey, like I watched all your videos. Do you have time to work with me? Like those are our favorite moments.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. Right there with you. We've had just the pleasure of meeting a lot of people across the nation, and some people do social media at a really high level, and I think that that's great. But the number one question I always ask is, how much business do you do from it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you have a couple million followers or whatever. Like, if you're doing 5 transactions a year from your social media, you're missing it. So
Yeah.
we chase engagement more than likes and views, and it's served us really well.
Well, give me a little perspective too. So I've seen you do a lot on Instagram. I know you have a YouTube channel. I'm not sure what you've got going on Facebook. Like, give me what your content plan on these different platforms kind of looks like, and what's working for you.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And it's one that I feel like we've really, as the market has gotten tougher, like I feel like a good market hides a multitude of sins. And so you can
Yeah.
just kind of put whatever you want out there, and you don't have to be super clear, and the market kind of just takes care of it for you. But in the last 12 months and going to conferences like RevB and helped us kind of figure in and dial in exactly what we're trying to do. And what we've realized is the YouTube channel is very client facing, and they're the have not mets, right? It's people we've never
Yeah.
met before. They're doing research, the big search engine. So our content there is, how do we tell people about the greater Nashville area? How do we tell people about Franklin? How do we relate to them? How do we answer the questions that they're searching for? So that content is not for our database. It's not for our people. It's not for other real estate agents. It's for the consumer, the person that looking to make a purchase or sell a home in the area. And then Instagram, what we found is it's a great way to connect with other real estate agents. It's typically, I mean, some people find a lot of leads that they get from the consumer directly on Instagram. That's not been us traditionally. We get a lot of engagement from their real estate agents, which is great because we love doing referral business and linking arms with like-minded people. But also with a company like Real, that we're building a network of individuals to speak into. It's a great potential lead generation tool of helping answer a need for others. And then Facebook, our focus on Facebook is our sphere of influence. That's where a lot of our people are. We're like, we really serve that sweet spot of like 35 to 55. And then
Yep.
of course with that, parents end up moving to the area. It's a very transient area. It's people move here. Nobody's from here. I could throw a rock from my house, and well, maybe back before shoulder surgery, I could throw a rock from my house and hit 5 other houses of people from California or
Yeah.
Illinois or New York, right? So a lot like Texas, nobody's from there. So anyway,
Well,
that's
Kyle,
Facebook. Yeah, go ahead.
what I love about that is like what I heard is YouTube is about the topic, right? For people who don't know you, and your YouTube channel is about your area and everything else. And when I go to your Instagram, I feel like I get to know you on Instagram. So it's like on YouTube, I get to know the topic. On Instagram, I get to know you guys and what you're
Yeah.
doing. A lot more your personality shines through that. And then it sounds like Facebook tends to be maybe more of the relationships you've already had. Like it's a way to stay in front of the people that you already know. Would that kind of put context around the buckets?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's the have mets, and then just agent attraction and get to know us on a personal level there on Instagram.
And how
I'd
much?
like to.
Go ahead, Katie. I've
I'd like to.
been doing way too much to the questions here, Katie.
Little
You
yapping.
get it.
So Tim and I have been on a lot of calls together, and on our last call, he was drinking pre-workout, and he texted me during the call and he says, "Sorry, I'm a little low energy." And I was like, "It's cool, I've got it. Like, I have a lot of questions that I have in my head," and like she would say something, and I would have the next thing. And I can tell Tim's pre-workout has kicked in because he's like, okay, Kyle, I got it. Okay, so I want to go in a different direction here, and that direction is Facebook, right? Because like, we've been covering so much with Instagram and green screen and different ways to get more local reach, and also the agent play on Instagram. We talk a ton about YouTube and the talking head style content that works really well, and the different evergreen and market update type content on YouTube. But we really don't talk a lot about Facebook. And so that may be some video content, but some more like written word or photo type content. So like, what how do you see what you're putting out and that leading to business on Facebook?
Yeah, so a couple of things on this. There's a lot of like cross pollination that happens, right? Like we're gonna shoot some content that goes on Instagram that might go on YouTube and say, hey, we're gonna go ahead and share it on Facebook. But overall, that's where, man, we celebrate people's birthdays. We talk about something a little more personal. It's probably a lot of the storytelling of what our journey's been. I haven't
Mhm.
always had uh, legacy wealth building opportunities in my life until I went into real estate. That's where we like to tell those stories. Any projects, or the house that we live in now, we bought 2.5 years ago. We took it down to the studs in every single best. So we told a lot of those stories of how we built wealth in real estate through chasing opportunities and learning new skills and investment strategies and some of those things. So that's one component. I think it's just like letting people know exactly who we are, and not being afraid to let that shine through. Stories of our kids. What does our life look like? But one thing that we haven't hit on with Facebook, that's pretty unique and cool about our business, is when the mass exodus started happening in 2020 with the pandemic and all the reshuffling from California and New York and everything started happening. A lot of people landed in Tennessee. My wife Casey started getting tagged. She's very active online. She's like in charge of our marketing side of things. I'm in charge of our sales team and run that side. And so she kept getting tagged on this Facebook group called "I used to live in California, but now I live in Tennessee," which is like a crazy, stupid, long name. But she's like, "Man, this thing is like a little bit of a gold mine. Like I'm able to connect
Yeah.
with people. They're asking questions about," and we both had the idea at the same day, but she's a woman of action. And so she was like, we started talking about, she's like, "I've already done this." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." We reached out to the admin of that page and said, "Hey, would you ever think about selling that page to us?" We had never heard of anybody doing this, but we're like, you know what? I think there's something to it. There's something like 3,000 or 4,000 people or something like that on the page at the time. And she's like, "Well, I haven't really thought about it." She was just doing it. She used to live in California. It was like to reminisce on things, but people
Yeah.
were using it as a platform in a group to come and ask questions about what would it be like to move to Tennessee. And they're asking it, it's like this self-sufficient ecosystem. They're asking it to people that have already made that move, that have a level of relatability because they know exactly what somebody's leaving and what they're going to get whenever they get here. And so we're like, man, this is beautiful. The problem was there was 40 million real estate agents. I use 40 million a lot. It's just kind of like the thing that first comes to mind. There's realistically probably about 300 real estate agents on this page. And so
Just
the
booted them
we
all
kind of
out.
well, we came to terms with the lady. We paid her $4,000,
Yeah.
and she came to the house. I just wrote like this little contract. Is like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna like find something and write it. I handed her a check for 4,000. She clicked admin rights over to us. She removed herself as admin, stayed in the group, and immediately we went and kicked off every single real estate agent. And between, I think that year we did, it was over $250,000 in GCI from that Facebook group. And what it was we had kind of a canned response that we would send to anybody trying to get into the group. Where are you coming from? How long, where have what's your timeline look like? Just general questions, and then a little bit about us with a video, that same video, that intro video to them. And the organic conversation started coming out of that. I mean, it was just, we got one buyer that was, a $4 million buyer from there. And it's pretty wild. So we also have that component of things that I love about Facebook, just the community there that people come to build. And anyway, that's been
Well,
a
I'd
cool piece
like
of
to drop
business.
one. Katie and I are going to want to dig into this because, it's funny to say like our REVB Facebook page is growing organically and like we have to keep the fuel on the fire. I will say that my disclaimer on this is making sure like buying a Facebook group can be a good idea for a lot of people in a lot of areas. But you have to look at the group you're buying, and it does not matter how many people it has in it. It matters how many like engaged people there are, how good are the conversations, and is it the type of conversations that you're going to convert to business. So like I love that. I just want to throw the disclaimer out there. Don't go find
Don't go buy a Facebook group.
Yes.
Don't buy a Facebook group that sucks.
Yes. Yeah. Because we've had a lot of people ask us questions and they go and they buy one or whatever. And they're like, it's not working. I'm like, well, what's the whole heart behind it? Right. Like are people just because it's a ton of people, it just doesn't, at the end of the day, you gotta know why people are going there.
Yeah, you just said like, what's the heart behind it? And like a lot of these Facebook groups are dumpster fires, and
Yeah.
like I think it's the quality of the group they buy. But I will say, when it comes to building out that group and building out that Facebook community, what are things you're doing to keep that going? Because they die, right? Like those things don't always go well. So
this is Tim's personal coaching call for the REVB Facebook group.
I know, I love that. I love that. Well, full transparency, it's really died down a lot because we didn't do a great job over the last couple of years of sustaining it. But legitimately, I mean, we turned $4,000 into well over $500,000 in GCI that came from that Facebook group that we wouldn't have had before. I think a lot of it was the seasonality and, the pandemic's over. All of a sudden, people are getting called back to the office. Prices soared in the Nashville market. So the price discrepancy between where people were coming from to what it would be here, that gap shrunk a little bit. And so there's still some activity there, but it just hasn't been as steady, right? But I think the key is to understand the heart behind the group, and then don't force feed content and be salesy. Come from contribution. What need are you needing to meet? What all these people that are coming there, what are they coming there for? Meet the need. And when you meet a need, you open up the door for trust. And out of trust comes relationship to potentially do some business.
And the thing I'd be interested in is, okay, so we know that we have this commonality of people in California living in Nashville. And although there's not this as much of a migration from California to Nashville right now, there's still all these people that are from California that a lot of them live in Nashville. So I'm sure there's other topics and things that can kind of re-engage that group when you think about that audience avatar. But I love that. That's like such a niched group. I've never heard of that kind of group in any other market. And so if you are one of those areas, there's a lot of people that move from California or like from these areas. That's like an interesting group to make for sure.
Yeah. One of the things, continue to engage in conversation. If there are some commonalities of things that everybody can relate to, hitting on that. So for example, if anybody, when you meet my wife and have conversation with her, it won't take long for you to realize that she is nuts about In-N-Out Burger. I mean, just crazy about In-N-Out, right? Well, we don't have any in Tennessee. So anytime that we go to Scottsdale once a quarter for a mastermind, anytime we're in the Texas area, like any market with In-N-Out, like we get off the plane and she's there. Like she finds one and goes, right? So with that, like we've gone and spoken at conferences and they've given us like these boxes of like In-N-Out swag and gift cards and stuff, right? Like it's pretty funny to see. Well, In-N-Out made this huge announcement that they're moving to the Eastern United States and their headquarters is going to be in Franklin, Tennessee. Not only that, like 3 minutes from our house, they're going to put the first In-N-Out burger on the Eastern United States, 3 minutes from our house. You better believe we rode that wave like crazy. We were putting content out where it's going to be, because why? Everybody from California, In-N-Out's like Whataburger for Texans. There's nostalgia there, right? You take it for granted until you're out of that market. It's no longer available to you. And then it's a level of commonality. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a piece of home, right? So that tri-tip barbecue, all the things.
I'd like to say you guys manifested that. That was, I don't buy into the whole like manifest your destiny thing, but I think you did it. I think you brought In-N-Out headquarters to Franklin.
I think that there might be some validity there, Tim.
Katie, take this interview in a better direction. Where do you want to go with it next?
What do you order at In-N-Out?
Oh God. Okay. Am I focused on my health or just
No?
You're there for one time for the next couple months. You're going all
right. Double animal style, grilled onions, animal style fries.
That's the only right answer.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's just pack those
Oh, man,
calories in.
I'm hungry, guys. No, anyways, outside of that though, like, is Facebook also today, as you said, it's like the group has died down a little bit
Yeah.
and things like that. Like today, are you finding the storytelling content, like, are posts, like pictures with longer captions, performing better? Are videos performing better? Like, what type of content resonates? Like, obviously storytelling, but what does that look like?
Yeah, and the other piece is I can tell you right now, I'm stalking Kyle's Facebook, and Casey is the one crushing it, and she does seem like she is crushing it with pictures of the house and writing out that nice story. It seems like that's working for you guys big time.
Big time. Yeah. So she really is freaking amazing, and I get to just kind of ride that wave with her, right? So our kind of deal is like that's a big part of her focus in the business, and so she tags me on every post, and it's basically just kind of storytelling our lives. So one of the things I feel like she does extraordinarily well is she will get into the feels, and she usually finds her pocket of time. She's really big on trying to win the morning, right? So sometimes she has trouble sleeping at night. So it might be 3 o'clock in the morning. She'll write down in a note what she has in her heart to kind of share. It might be something about, she did one post that was, she's not afraid to be a little polarizing. She did one post about something that she's found is how people keep their house is usually how they keep their life. So as messy and chaotic as somebody's house is internally, sometimes that's a direct reflection of what they're feeling in their life too. Oh, Tim, I'm seeing a little. I'm gonna stick Casey on you right now. She's angry chapter.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she'll post stuff like that, right? And that's a story of, from us professionally, what we're seeing, and people engage in it. They love to see that stuff. They love to hear about our journey that, 10 years ago, I was making $35,000 a year as a youth pastor. Collectively, we never cracked six figures. And then we were able to build wealth and legacy in real estate. They love to hear those stories, So she's really good at telling those.
Yeah, what I love about it is she tells them so consistently that you have this consistent thread of comments going on all these posts, and people are engaging with it. And one of the things I don't think people think about is time on post for Facebook. And whether or not people like your post, if they are reading the whole thing, that is like going off in the Facebook algorithm. Oh, Katie just spent 45 seconds reading this post. Kyle just spent 42 seconds reading this post. And that's the main thing to get you juice on Facebook is, are people reading the whole thing? And so to have those stories that people buy into and people get engaged with and read is a lot of the magic to getting more eyes on your Facebook posts.
One of the hearts behind anything that Casey and I do is we're really big on encouraging people. And I look at encouragement as like infusing people with courage, right? Sometimes they need to hear your story and help champion your story because they want to see a piece of themselves in your story, right? So there's a fine line between bragging and sitting there and like, look what all I have, and to humbly say, man, I came from nothing. Like I didn't have anything. Nobody gave me a leg up. I didn't, I wasn't born into money. This is something that we've rolled up our sleeves. We found our gifting. We've loved people well along the journey, and we're building an incredible life that we're blessed to live. And people love to be a part of that. And we want people to be a part of that. So I feel like Facebook is really an avenue where we get to do that.
And it's funny you say that. I think people overthink it so much, but when you tell your story, you just have no idea how many people are going to find those pieces of it that they identify with. And I did that thing about my dad at REVB and everything else, and it was it was like the talk powerful. That I gave. That I got like the most. I've never had a talk that so many people came up to me and had to talk to me afterwards. But what such an interesting part about it was, like, everybody had something different. Like a lot of people were like, hey man, I was that kid like you were. And then some people were like, hey man, I was your dad. And then some people were like, I feel like I was that part. But the more you tell your story in that authentic way, which I think our agents overthink it. Like they're like, oh, how do I want to be perceived online? So should I make it seem like I'm doing better than I actually am? Should I fake it till I make it? And yeah, you miss that opportunity to have those moments to really connect with people.
There's I'm totally gonna blank on what his name was, but essentially there's this guy that he came and spoke at a conference that I was at, and he ended up like climbing all of these mountains and everything while he was at this, I mean, quite literally climbing mountains, and his whole talk is like, "What's your Everest?" type of thing, right?
Oh
I'm
God,
totally blanking on his name. He's a great guy.
that's Chris
Um,
Benjamin. He climbed Everest. He's like one of our boys.
Wait, is it a real estate
it's not,
conference
no,
or
no. Well, it is, but it wasn't him.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right. I was
totally
gonna
blanking on
say
his name.
there's
But anyway,
another guy running around talking about climbing Everest. Yeah.
no,
what a hack?
he's also a guy that like went across Antarctica like
Okay, cool.
solo.
Chris hasn't done
First,
that. We gotta
yeah,
let him
not
know.
him.
Not
Yeah.
yet.
So he actually like had burns all over his body.
Yeah.
He got really hurt, and like he was in a foreign country. And he had this moment where his mom showed up and encouraged him. And it's like this part of the story, his story when he tells it, that nobody really picks up on. But whenever I heard it, I was like, holy cow. Like everybody's got their Everest at some point, and everybody's infatuated with figuring out what their Everest is, what's their big thing, their big mountain that they're going to climb in their life. But I think very few people, and this is something that I try to focus on, is like that moment will come. But how many people around me need me to be that person to infuse them with courage to find their Everest, right? That's an opportunity. I don't have to, well, you have to wait for your Everest moment, right? So those moments in life where you get to this big thing. But every single day, I have an opportunity to be a pillar of courage for other people whenever they might be in that moment or searching for it, right? So I think that's what we've just really tried to focus on and what we try to model our life on. And anyway, it's been great.
Katie loves these emotional calls where we talk about things like this. But I will say it's like Facebook has so much crap for people on there. Instagram has so much crap for people on there. And I have a lot of friends that are like, I want to talk about politics because somebody needs to. And I'm like, dude, like the world does not need another political opinion. Like, I just don't think it does. And like, I'm passionate about a lot of that stuff. But putting it on Facebook, in my opinion, just makes me resonate with people who think like I do. And I love what you're talking about, because I think more people need encouragement, more people need optimism in their feed, and I love that that you guys are providing that in like an authentic way. So yeah, that's all right. Here's my question, Katie. I'm sorry, I'm hogging this whole thing. You've got Instagram, you've got YouTube, you've got Facebook. You can only use one for the next 2 years. Which one do you keep?
If I only could use one, man, that's like two different sides of my brain. I feel like if it's in the wheelhouse, if I'm looking at it from the monetary standpoint, from a business perspective, YouTube. And I think that has to do a lot with the market that we're in. We have a lot of people researching the area, moving here, right? If I lived in a market where everybody's from there, nobody gets out of there, nobody's moving there, it wouldn't be YouTube, it'd be Facebook. But because of the market we're in, I'd really focus on YouTube.
That was a great answer.
Thank you. Did I nail it? Did I nail it? We're good.
Yeah, you did. Because that last caveat, because I think people live in these, some markets just aren't great for YouTube because not enough people are really interested in all the things and have that many questions about it. And I do think Facebook, and even that's where a lot of times we're seeing our Instagram local focused content is doing well. In some of those markets where your clients are already living there and you have less people researching it from different places. So no, that's a great answer. Katie, what do you got? I'm sorry. I'll let you go.
You're gonna let me go like you'd like me to leave?
No,
the
I'm
call
gonna
and
let you
guys just
dive in
continue
here.
This cute little bro sesh, or
The pre-workout hit. I don't know what to tell you.
I can tell.
man.
I can tell.
Yeah.
We need to find a call in which we're both at the same level. Because last call I was you, and now you like I'm not tired, but I'm normal level, and you're at like a
Fired
12.
up.
Yeah, just snorting.
We know Kyle
pre-workout
talks
between
about
calls.
impact and telling story. I get all pumped up. That's my
I know.
that's my jam.
I know. It's all good. It's all good.
Your jam's like lead magnets and processes. Not that you don't care. I'm just saying that's like we have our things. Yeah,
We do. Kyle's just like, Mom and Dad,
Do you
stop
guys want me to
arguing.
leave, or do you guys want me to leave? Or I can come back later if you want. Yeah.
Not in front of the kids. Not in front of the kids.
Yeah.
what is, so a lot of the storytelling that you're talking about, a lot of the things have been very like feelings driven, right? Like, hey, this is something that like creating generational wealth, doing these things that have changed the path for our family, right? What's the best like tactical advice you've gotten, right? Or has leading with kind of your heart and kind of how that's pulled you just been the move? Because like writing a check for a Facebook group, like you're not just like, oh, this sounds like fun, let's do it, right? Like clearly thought has gone behind all these things. So like, what's the best like kind of tactical advice you've gotten around content?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Because I think that some people do one or the other really well, and they don't combine them very often, right? Like they get excited, I can create content, and then they have no systems. Or I can do systems, but I'm so in the fields with systems and making it perfect that I don't have any lead levers with content, right? So one of the things that just bothers me is when somebody makes content without a plan. When they
Yeah.
haven't. I love that we talked about this at RevB of like, who's your avatar? Who exactly are you trying to appeal to? And each channel and each YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, like what's your strategy with each of those platforms, right? So one of the things that I feel like we've done really well is create the system and the process that follows the content.
Okay.
So if somebody has, I mean, and there are people in our market that they'll have a YouTube video that might have 250 plus thousand views. Well, ours might have 10,000 views or 5,000 views, but I can almost guarantee you that we've generated more revenue in terms of leads that have closed from 5,000 views than 250,000 views. Because the gold is not necessarily in the views. It's, do you have avenues in a way for people to engage with you, and then a system and process to push them through? When I say push them through, guide them through, right?
Yeah.
And
Move them down
so
the funnel.
that's something I feel like I think we've done it extraordinarily well, honestly. I think that's, if there's, I wish that we could get more views and more eyes on content, because afterwards, like that's the thing that I feel like we actually nail.
I love that. And as far as like I would say YouTube, right? I think that's the hardest platform to convert from, because there's no DM capabilities, right?
Yeah.
So what does that look like as far as getting people off of the YouTube platform and into your insert thing here? Is it website, link
Oh,
in
it'll
bio?
be email, it'll be phone number. To tell you the truth, those leads that come in on YouTube are my favorite, because it, I think there's, I think sometimes the easy button just creates crappy leads. And that might be a little bit of a controversy, a controversial statement, but like I get it. I would rather, it's kind of like what you said, Tim, like those leads that come in there, they've already built trust off of the content. Like they've gotten to know you based on your content. So my favorite calls to get on are the people that were so encouraged by the content that they consumed that they took the extra step of getting out their phone, copying and pasting the email, and sending an email saying, "Hey, we're the Smiths. We live in Southern California. We stumbled across your YouTube channel and loved it. Thank you so much for all of that. Like, can we set up a call?" Right? That's massive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like some of it is content driven enough to where you have to be so relevant where they're compelled to do that. The best compliment we get is, we watched hundreds of YouTube videos, but your quality was so good and the content was so good that we felt like we were at a huge miss if we didn't actually reach out to you guys to work with you. So anyway, yeah, hopefully I probably didn't answer that question very well,
No,
Katie. I
no,
apologize.
that was a great answer, because I do think that like you said easy button, and what you said easy button to me sounded really hard. Like buying leads
Not
that
easy.
don't, yeah, buying leads that don't know me sounds way harder
Yeah.
than making content and dealing with people
Well,
that do know me.
I'm talking about like even on an Instagram, right? Just the
Yeah.
quick click on the profile and send a DM. Like that's an easy thing where you're right there in the app. It's like, okay, well, if somebody isn't willing to take it's almost like somebody saying, "Hey, I want to go see the house." Okay, are you pre-approved? If
Yeah.
they're not willing to get pre-approved, then really like, okay, it's exciting that you're getting somebody who wants to come see a look, take a look at the house, but you don't really have a lead at that point. You have a looky loo. So
Yeah.
anyway.
So what's if somebody finds you on YouTube, are they calling you? Do you have like a schedule a call with us? Is it an email? Like what's that look like?
So it's typically an email. Sometimes they'll shoot us a text or call directly. Sometimes they'll call directly. But the best ones were the ones that took the time to send an email. A little methodical.
Love that.
Methodical, right? The other part that's great about it is they are when they're doing research, you usually find somebody that's like, man, I'm doing research. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this email out anyway. I'm doing research to begin with. So I already have kind of what our criteria is and what we're looking for. And it kind of tees up that phone call and we come in
Yeah.
locked and loaded.
So Kyle, there's there's Katie, there's got to be like 2 or 3 people listening to the podcast in the car.
Total.
And they're just like, oh, here Tim comes again. He's gonna be poking at me. But there's people driving in their car, going on their neighborhood walk that still haven't started a YouTube channel. They still haven't gotten consistent on video, and they haven't done the stuff that you're talking about. Like, what's your one piece of advice or best piece of advice to them to get moving on this stuff? And like tactically though, like what would you say their first step should be?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because I feel like it's more than just doing. I think there is that level of consistency is so key. But I think that people look at what somebody else is doing and they get intimidated because they can't see themselves doing that. So, and that's okay. I think the biggest thing is you have to ask yourself, do some market research. What are the questions that people are wondering that I want to sell a house to? I think the most important thing in any type of sales or service industry is what's the need that you need to meet and at what level is the expectation of your service, right? Like where do you come from contribution enough to where you can build trust and meet somebody's needs? So providing content of information that somebody wants to consume because they're literally looking it up, like that's an easy thing. You just got to figure out what they're looking for. So in your area that somebody lives in, if you live in a place where people are moving to, well, why are they moving there? What are they moving there for? Is it financial? Is it political? Is it, all the things, right? And then develop content around that. People are already looking for those things, right? So people are moving to Middle Tennessee because it's a very safe place to live. The local economy is awesome. And overall, compared to other places, taxes are low and it's somewhat affordable compared to like a Southern California. Well, talk about those things, right? Like I'm not going to sit there and talk about the coolest coffee shops in town. That's a great Instagram or Facebook content for people that are already there local. But I am going to talk about, a video that I shot one time was a $250,000 income earner buying a $1.2 million house. I took one in Gilroy, California. I took one in upstate New York, and I took one in Franklin, Tennessee. I broke down the property taxes. I broke down the utilities. I broke down the state income tax. Tennessee doesn't have that. And the average savings was between $45,000 and $48,000 annually that somebody was saving between taxes, property taxes, and all the things. Right. Well, then I broke it down. Okay, if you have somebody at that point's probably more invested in investing in the future. Okay, if you took that $45,000 over the course of 5 years. Well, who's moving here? People with kids. What's the correlation I'm going to draw? What would that look like in a college fund for your kids? You just paid for college in 5 years for your kids in moving here. Now imagine you live here for 10, and that's in an index fund getting 8% plus annually, right? Like, so breaking all that down, I'm meeting the need there of exactly who I'm targeting, which is that $250,000 income earner plus.
I love that.
I love that. I love it more. I love it more. Kyle, you're the best. If someone was trying to get in contact with you, where would be the best place for them to do that?
Probably Franklin, Tennessee. That's usually where I hang out. I'm kidding.
Gotta
I'm
fly to
kidding.
Franklin.
It's okay.
I like it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Fly to Nashville and then drive down
Yeah.
south from there.
Yeah, no,
Got it.
on
All right.
Instagram, you can just look up Kyle Wallace. Casey is Mrs. She just changed her handle. I think it was like Mrs. Casey Wallace or Ms. Wallace or something like that. Just find me and you'll find her.
If you find Kyle, you'll find her for sure.
That's right. Yeah. It's just Kyle and Casey, or Kyle at wallacegrouptn.com and Casey at wallacegrouptn.com. And yeah. You can
People are going to
find us
email
there.
you?
They might, I mean, we
Yeah.
live in a little. I don't even know what TikTok is, guys. Like I've never been on it. I heard I need to be, but I'm kind of
Check
old.
it out. Definitely check it
I
out.
love it, man.
Yeah, probably should.
All right.
All right,
brother.
guys.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.